juga ingin memberitahukan bahwa panitia telah menyediakan door prize berupa 2 buah smart speaker Google Home ini bagi rekan-rekan yang beruntung. Mungkin panitia bisa next slide ya untuk menampilkan door prize-nya. Cara mendapatkannya sangat mudah sekali. Yang pertama, Anda dapat mengajukan pertanyaan pada webinar ini dan panitia akan memilih salah satu pertanyaan terbaik yang berhak mendapatkan door prize tersebut. Yang kedua, Anda dapat mengisi form survei ketika webinar ini nanti berakhir. Jadi bagi rekan-rekan semuanya ketika webinar ini berakhir ya, jangan diburu-buru ditutup aplikasinya, nanti akan diberikan survei secara otomatis yang akan muncul ketika webinar selesai. Baik, ini ya door prize-nya yang tadi saya discuss. Selanjutnya sebelum acara kita lanjutkan, saya akan membacakan dulu ya susunan acaranya. Next slide. Yang pertama, nanti akan ada introduction dan pemaparan singkat dari moderator. Setelah itu akan kita lanjutkan sejenak dengan pemutaran video singkat tentang Nodeflux Catalyst. Setelah itu kita akan lanjut ke sesi yang pertama, yaitu sesi pemaparan dari masing-masing panelis. Kita ada 3 panelis di sini. Ada joining us is Dr. Etikan Karupiah from Nvidia. Hai Etikan. Joining us is also the chairman of Indonesian IoT Association atau ASIOT ya, Asosiasi IoT Indonesia, sudah bergabung juga bersama kita Bapak Teguh Prasetya. Selamat siang Pak Teguh, terima kasih sudah hadir Pak Teguh. Yang ketiga sudah ada juga Mas Ivan Tigana, beliau nanti akan memberikan pemaparan dari Nodeflux. Kemudian setelah sesi pertama, kita akan lanjut ke sesi kedua, yaitu sesi diskusi panel. Di sisi diskusi panel ini nanti moderator akan memimpin jalannya acara ya, dan akan terjadi diskusi singkat antara moderator dan panelis seperti itu. Dan di sesi terakhir kita juga akan ada sesi tanya jawab ya. Jadi bagi teman-teman sekali lagi di keseluruhan acara, monggo feel free jika teman-teman ada pertanyaan yang ingin diajukan, silahkan diketik langsung saja di menu aplikasi Q&A di aplikasi Zoom Anda. Kemudian yang terakhir, kita juga akan mengumumkan nanti siapa pemenang door prize-nya yang memberikan pertanyaan terbaik. Jadi sekali lagi nanti silahkan teman-teman rekan-rekan memberikan pertanyaannya. Oke. Untuk mempersingkat waktu, saya akan membacakan CV singkat ya untuk moderator yang akan memandu kita pada webinar hari ini. Next slide. Beliau adalah Mbak Tilma Komaling. Beliau merupakan salah satu teknologi policy expert di Indonesia. Beliau sudah malang melintang ya di dunia startup dengan pengalaman lebih dari 18 tahun di berbagai sektor. Dulu sebelum pandemik, Mbak Tilma ini merupakan Head of Technology Governance and Digital Transformation di Nodeflux. Di tahun 2019 kemarin, Mbak Tilma juga terpilih ya sebagai One of Women for Tech Asian Industry Leadership Award pada acara Mobile World Congress di Shanghai. Kemudian pada tahun 2020 kemarin, beliau juga merupakan salah satu pakar yang ditunjuk oleh Kementerian Riset dan Teknologi dan BPPT pada Artificial Intelligence National Strategy Team pada kelompok kerja etika dan kebijakan. Selain itu Mbak Tilma juga sangat aktif di beberapa kegiatan public sector ya, termasuk di Jakarta. Ini ada inisiatif dengan European Union Initiative pada kegiatan Smart Change Project seperti itu, dan ada beberapa kegiatan internasional yang beliau sangat aktif mengikutinya gitu. Nah, baik, untuk mempersingkat acara mungkin saya bisa langsung serahkan waktu dan tempat kepada Mbak Tilma ya untuk melanjutkan jalannya acara ini. Mbak Tilma, time is yours.
Terima kasih, Chris. Okay, thank you for the introduction. I would like to say hello to everyone in the audience, to the panelists, and of course, to all of you who has registered to the webinar. And as promised, I will be conducting the discussion in English, but I would definitely jump over to Bahasa Indonesia and English. And also, this webinar is made possible thanks to the partnership and collaboration of Nodeflux, Nvidia, and Indonesia IoT Association. And I would like to also remind you, any of you just joining in right now, that the organizers have prepared 2 door prizes of 2 Google Home Mini for 2 of you in the audience. And to claim that, make sure that you do 2 things. First is you can ask questions in the Q&A sections below. And also the second one, you can as well fill the feedback form that will be available for you after the webinar to the Zoom app. So once you leave the webinar room, don't close the app and provide feedback on the bottom right corner of your Zoom apps. Alright, sekarang saya akan bicara sedikit mengenai bahasa Indonesia untuk semua yang hadir. Sedikit memberikan wacana untuk diskusi hari ini mengenai AI adoption dan juga ekosistem untuk mengakselerasi AI. AI ini adalah, atau bahasa Indonesianya adalah kecerdasan artifisial. Adalah sesuatu hal yang sangat-sangat terkini, artinya hal yang sangat dibicarakan, mulai dari bidang komersial sampai bidang publik, sektor publik atau pemerintahan. Dan bahkan dari pemerintah sendiri sudah menetapkan ada 5 sektor andalan yang akan menjadi fokus dari pengembangan kecerdasan artifisial. Dan saya akan bacakan 5-nya adalah pendidikan dan riset, kesehatan, mobilitas, ketahanan pangan, dan terakhir adalah reformasi birokrasi. Jadi menurut saya ini adalah sebuah platform yang cukup baik untuk kita berdiskusi dan juga bagaimana kita bisa mengeluarkan ide-ide, dan bahkan untuk Anda yang akan menerapkan AI dalam kegiatan operasionalnya juga bisa mendapatkan insights dan bahkan bisa mungkin bermitra dengan Nodeflux setelah acara ini. Alright, so as for our panelists, I would like to greet all of our panelists, and I would like to take the liberty to read through their impressive experiences and aspirations. The first one is Dr. Etikan Kandasamy Karupia, the Director of Developers Ecosystem at Nvidia, Southeast Asia, and Australia and New Zealand. He assists innovators, researchers, and techno-entrepreneurs to accelerate GPO adaptation for their R&D and software solution needs. And he has direct experience and passionate in accelerated computing, embedded software research, machine learning, deep learning, design and development, covering end-to-end needs. Currently, he coaches researchers and developers at research labs, development centers, and startups to implement actionable solutions for real-world problems, meeting specific requirements, leveraging GPU ecosystem capabilities. He also has published numerous publications, patents, and developed software libraries in past years. The second one is Mr. Teguh Prasetya. He is the chairman of Indonesia's IoT Association. Mr. Prasetya has a long record in developing the ICT ecosystem in Indonesia. One of his initiatives was to establish the Indonesia Cloud and Indonesia IoT Forum, which became the forerunner of Indonesia IoT Association. He is appointed as CEO of Alita Prayamitra in 2018, and also active as chairperson of Indonesia Managed Service Provider Association, or APASTEL, and head of section of Industry 4.0 at Indonesia ICT Society atau MASTEL. And the last but not least is Ivan Tigana. Ivan Tigana is the Chief Business Officer at Nodeflux. He has been working with the government and enterprise in delivering best in class in AI solutions. He has a proven track record for decades in doing the business and marketing landscape from various industries, including creative, FMCG, and the smart city industry. It is one of the present focus, actually. And growing in the rapid technology environment from pager to smartphone era up to the early internet and Y2K apocalypse, it has pushed him to learn and adapt and implement the technology onto the personal and professional life. All right, so now just before we go through the first session, we will see an introductory video on Nodeflux Catalyst by Mehdi Fitranto as Nodeflux of as CEO of Nodeflux Technology Indonesia.
Plus, as the largest vision AI in Indonesia, we aspire to contribute towards catalyzing the technology advancement for this nation. For that reason, we established the launching of Nodeflux Catalyst. Nodeflux Catalyst is a partnership platform initiated by us that supports you in expanding your business and growing together with us through AI ecosystem. You will also get an exposure of our diverse market as well as collaboration opportunities. With Nodeflux, together we accelerate delivering value to our respective clients. Our ecosystem revolves by creating a mutual collaboration from solution development to marketing channel. By this, we will cooperate on product development, creating use cases, and developing new markets, along with penetrating our innovation to its respective clients. Nodeflux Catalyst aims to accelerate growth, to increase revenue, and to gain a higher brand awareness. And most of all, we aim to deliver the best end-to-end solution. Let's become the catalyst of technology advancement in Indonesia.
All right, so I think it is a call to action. We need to become the catalyst of technology of Indonesia, and by doing so, we need to learn also from the bigger perspective. I think we need also to hear from our first speaker about how is the ecosystem around Indonesia and probably his forecast or experience working in the Southeast Asia region, and we might learn from it. Dr. Etikan?
Sure. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I'm sharing my slides. It's going to come through. Just give me 1 second. I need a permission to share. Okay. Thank you. Thanks for the permission. And if you can see in the larger screen, I'm going to share about Nvidia Metropolis platform or program that we've been working together with Nodeflux as one of the leading ISV in the space of intelligent video analytics. From our perspective from Nvidia, we have seen globally, it is a 2 trillion market opportunity where there is almost 1 billion sensors and cameras out there today, which is, people see it as a CCTV solution without any intelligence or capability in terms of understanding or analyzing the pixels. And almost 250 million hours are being spent if people actually anyway look at those CCTV videos. So that means most of the time people do not look at it, or they don't have the patience to continuously look at those CCTV and make intuitive decision on what I call that intelligence extraction from those pixels. So end of the day, those hours of time span or billions of dollars span is not translated into any action. And from our perspective, we see almost 30 million of edge devices are sold every year. So on top of the 250 million, there is a 30 million devices gets into the pool of devices which are already there and growing year after year. And this 20 million increases tremendously over the years. Now, from the video analytics perspective, it has gone into multiple areas. For example, access control, public transit, industrial inspection, traffic engineering, retail analytics, in terms of logistics, critical infrastructure, and public safety. So there is a huge opportunity for platform providers like Nodeflux, together with the partners that they have. In Indonesia, for example, you have 250 million population to start with, but I see ASEAN actually has a larger opportunity where each and every country in ASEAN region growing dramatically in the space of intelligent video analytics across all type of verticals. Now, I'm just going to share with you what exactly this means for a simple city operator who has a CCTV solution and they're not doing anything, right? Now, at any point of time, any events can happen. As you can see over here, everything looks normal on the right hand side and the left hand side. By the way, the video is from US, so it is on your left hand side driving. Everything looks normal. There are, what is abnormal here? You can see a car entering at the wrong side of the lane. Now, it happens in a short period of time by a specific camera, and it actually can be detected by using a abnormal movement behavior. Now, when this happens, actually cause congestion. It may cause, people's life and so on. How do we pick up this anomaly, right? It's just an example of anomaly, and then make sure this information goes back to the right person who's responsible. The lady over here coming out of the car, if I'm the person, I dare not to do it because I'm concerned whether maybe another car going to come and knock me, right? So this is what you call anomaly in the example of safe city type of environment. But beyond this, there's another vertical that I see huge opportunity that we have seen in the last 1-2 years. Of course, given it's something which is painful for all of us, trapped in our house during this pandemic, but everybody has to live and have a life to continue. So retail is one sector which is actually we have seen increase in terms of adoption of technology worldwide. So we see a retail opportunity is about 26 trillion worldwide. And of course, the profit margin of the retailers is relatively small, but they need to safeguard this profit margin. And today, they see by applying intelligent video analytics in terms of automation, in terms of asset protection, and so many use cases, they can increase the profit by 3 times, which is almost about $1 trillion. Same opportunity actually lies in ASEAN region as well. So why is AI is important for retailers? For example, right? If let's take a particular store, we call a shrinkage in a store. A shrinkage means assets are being lost in a store. So by the way, this is a report taken from North America retail report, which is annually being done as a reference case I wanted to take. That's a loss per particular store every year, which is about 500,000 US dollars, assuming they have 1,000 stores. If I take Indonesia, I'm sure some of your retailers have 10,000 stores or 15,000 stores. I just take 1,000 stores. If they were to have 70 cameras in one particular middle size type of store, and we are looking at about 2.1 million frames images per second to be analyzed. And let's say you have a 40 FOSS in a server to be stored in a particular store, which costs about 20,000 put together roughly. I'm just putting it an amount just for the sake of calculation. Is going to cost them about 20 million. Now, it is actually going to increase or decrease the annual reduction in shrinkage by 150 million. So by putting about 20 million investment, they can save about 150 million annually, right? In this case, let's look at AI-powered intelligent stores. This is how the retail stores actually changing the landscape during the phase of pandemic, where people must maintain a social distance, should able to have a convenient way of shopping. For example, the use cases are asset protection, stock out reduction, stock analytics, some cases autonomous shopping, and also safety and security within the store. Um, there is more use cases that you can actually observe. For example, whether PPE, personal protective equipment being worn, or mask is worn, because else in some countries, some government actually gives a fine to the store because people are not following the specific rules that they're supposed to follow, detecting crowd and so on. Even some cases where they actually use the information to do contact tracing, if in case a possible patient with a COVID-19 walked into the store and they could have infected the people in the store at the same time. So there is many type of use cases could be applied. As simple as, for example, stock out and placement. A camera which is positioned at the store can tell which product is out of stock, so that the store manager can get the worker to come and replace the stock. So there is many use cases can be done. Curbside pickup, which is picked up in the last 1 year, we have seen worldwide, is people are not allowed to come into the store, but they can order through online, and the package is ready. They can drive through and just collect the package belong to them, and they go off. So the retail experience has been changing, and given pandemics are not going to go away this year or maybe even next year, we see the next 2 years this kind of technology will be important. So there is many of kind of use cases being applied within the retail sector, which we see it's almost $26 trillion opportunity. But beside the retail sector, in terms of the shops, we also see opportunity in the smart warehouse, where packaging comes in, where video analytics being used together with the robotics to pick and place, and also in order to do delivery. So all this actually comes together as a warehouse logistic use cases where IVA being applied. Finally, another one or two more slide. The way that NVIDIA works is we work with our partners like, for example, in this case, Nodeflux. We provide the entire Metropolis software stack or SDKs, where they develop very intelligent, very sophisticated, a lot of features that Nodeflux has put in, and they're continuously working on. I used to talk to the engineering team, and they have a very talented team actually building a lot of application that you can use it for your own deployment, running on various of our hardware. For example, it could be a T4 or even a Jetson. So it is very simple, easy way how they have developed their framework, their applications as API and interface, where the video streams comes in. They have AI experts, AI engineers in Nodeflux, where they train the model so that the AI trained model can be optimized on our NVIDIA hardware and a platform, so that they can easily deploy. So this is just an example how we are continuously NVIDIA helping and working together with the Nodeflux so that they can bring the solution to everybody, right? Example of implementation that I would like to show over here is, say, this is an example where the queue or people counting can be done. In this case, social distancing being done. And the last demo shows how automatic license plate recognition can be done for a specific vehicle. All this done in a single stream, how video being captured, decoded, made it into streams of management to do analytics, and then AI algorithm comes in. From there, tracking can be done, and then analytics can be done, and probably finally it can be rendered in a specific device as what you wanted. So this is how AI is made so simple and possible through our platform, through our partners like Nodeflux for deployment. So with that, I will stop my sharing and pass back to the moderator. Thank you.
Thank you for a very concise and on-point presentation, Dr. Etikan. And I think we're going to continue to our second speaker, Pak Teguh Prasetya.
Okay.
The screen is
Thank
yours.
you. Thank you, Mbak Filma, and have a good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon, Pak.
Let me see my screen. Okay, can you see now?
Yes, clear.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, everybody, and moderator, panelists, also all the participants in this webinar. First of all, AI is cannot be detached from the IoT at large. So that's why we are talking about, okay, this is ecosystem and to bring it up down. As a background, the development for AI and IoT for the next 5 years in Indonesia, we are predicted that it will grow rapidly. So compound annual growth rate will be more than 30% yearly. The implementation of AI itself within the IoT device, as I mentioned by Dr. Etikan before, saying that it will improve all the operational efficiency and all across the sector, especially It is about tracking and collection of the data, monitoring and analysis the data, controlling, optimizing, training, automation for modeling and prediction for the action to be taken. So there are key steps in providing intelligent and efficient of AI algorithm, as mentioned by Nvidia itself, and application in every single sector within Indonesia. So of course, to reach that, we know that all the components also should be handled by network itself. How is the low power wide area network has been deployed in Indonesia? We know that 4G is there, and upcoming 5G it's also being construct. Of course, now is the license frequency band has been announced, and those one will be deployed by all the telcos in Indonesia. Secondly, the LoRa one. LoRa one is also being deployed nationwide by independent IoT providers. This is unlicensed frequency. Right now, still on 920 to 923 megahertz, but next year, hopefully within this year, we will edit another frequency band, which is 433 megahertz. And then Sigfox. Sigfox is also available nationwide. In Indonesia, it is deployed by Sigfox Indonesia. For the regulation point of view, we are working with Ministry of ICT, Ministry of Manpowers, and also National Central of Statistics, also standardization bodies in Indonesia. All of them, we provide the what we call the regulation to make everybody who would like to enjoy, who would like to make a business within the IoT spectrum in Indonesia secure enough. What is the correlation between AI and IoT? AI is just like a brain. They analyze, make an analytic of the data, creative thinking, and also make a decision upon all the data that is gathered by downward one, by the data, by the activities, by the sensor, and by what is the sensor that is there. So with that, meaning that every activities that can bring up to the AI, then we can make decision on top of it very fast, very quick, very precise. So what about the IoT penetration for each sector? We understand between 2020 is pretty much a downturn for us, for all of us, especially also including the IoT itself. So we've seen about 20% of downgrade of our prediction because of the COVID. But we do believe 2021, after we are adopting and we are adapting with it, then we can still enjoy the growth. The most growth is coming from healthcare. Number two is also coming from the telecommunication, and media is still growing at large. A lot of activities in the social media coming, a lot of activities on the online is there for the telecommunication sector. Thirdly is about agriculture. Fourth is financial, and then manufacturing, retail, home, and also from the public sectors, including government. So this is the total of demand. It is there, and it is growing pretty much huge. We are breaking down into four things, device, network, platform, and application. We know that device and network is no different than the regular things, device makers, network players. But if we are talking about AI, then we are talking about platform and application. This is the biggest chunk. 78% of the market is here. So, all the AI business partners or ecosystem will be very happy about this one. We got around 17 billion of US demand on 2021, and then about 20 billion of demand. And this is about US dollar, yeah, It is there for Indonesia, so it's free for all of us to explore and to grab the market here. What we do on 2021. So number one, for sure, we try to enrich solution, because within all the association, we make collaboration, competition, support for IoT solution, especially to enhancing digital transformation for all Indonesian. Secondly, we extend the LP1 unlicensed frequency towards 433 megahertz. Why? Because we would like to have larger coverage in only one single access point. And the third one, we try to develop a new three national standard, Indonesian national standard, based on ISO IEC adoption. So right now we are already have three, and this year we have another three. And then, of course, we try to still continuing socialization, education, competition, penetration, and certification for human resource. Because now we already have what we call national competence standards for SKKNI for the IoT, based on the Ministry of Manpower decree. So what we need also for Indonesian in 2021, number one, for sure, health quality improvement. If you see the demand of personal healthcare is high, personal demand of digital healthcare is there, the demand of the health food and beverage is there, demand for vaccine for C19 is there. From delivery, tracking, whatever that related with vaccine is there. Even the demand for measuring the effectiveness and then impact after they got first shot, second shot, and so on. It's there. Indonesian consists of 270 million of people. For sure, it is a good and a great demand. Secondly, is improving the economy, because this is the main topic for us, the hot topic for 2021, how we are improving all the economic, all sectors. For sure, the demand of everything done from home, it's also high, still high, and even getting higher. Business digitalization demand not only affecting the high or the large enterprise, but also small and medium enterprise. And also demand for the digital taxation, because government needs more revenue coming from digitalizing of this one. This is how we think that improving the economic with utilizing digitalization. The thirdly is about education improvement. We know this year we don't think, and we still think that all education still doing online, mostly. That's why demand of teleeducation still high, demand of certified skill human resource, especially for the digital sector, is high, AI, IoT, and so on. Demand for digitalizing education center, it's also high. So, start to be we start ready to accepting all virtual university, virtual school, whatever that right now they start to grow. And then lastly is enhance the security. We know right now everything is go online, everything is go digital, and that's why demand for protection of personal data become necessary. And demand for the cybersecurity is number two, and number three is demand for tracking and high alerting. So this one is also a new demand for this one. If you see a lot of sector in Indonesia right now, it start to create a digital transformation initiative. So if you see the financing, the Central Bank of Indonesia, and then we are talking about Ministry of Health, and every sector, they start to do open system, introducing standardization of their technical API, security API standardization, also their data standardization. They start doing that. And then after the open system, secondly, what they did within this 4 years now, It's about digitalizing the system itself, public service development, private and industry development, digital device development, also digital ecosystem integration, start from device, network, platform, and apps. So digitalizing their ways, their business. The thirdly, they are really now much care on digital infrastructure, start from network, data center, cloud, and platform, then security. So this is the way they did. And the fourthly, the most important one is about the data. Unified the format, the data hub, processing and analysis, also report and dashboard of integration. And the lastly is about the licensing, the regulation, start from the regulatory licensing, surveillance integration, also sandbox for the new tech. This is now becoming pretty much a standard. Start by OJK with the fintech. Now the health tech is also there. And then the lastly is about data and cybersecurity. Collaboration is becoming a must to make sure that this one is happening, start from the government, also from the industry players. So this collaboration will make sure that all digital transformation for Indonesia, it is happening for the next 4 years. What is the influential technology that we see within these 4 years? Start from device, we know exactly everything wearable now is becoming trend and becoming more and more coming on the upcoming years. And secondly, it's about edge computing. So nowadays, it's no longer needed that computing is done to the core network, but now it's shifting to the edge computing. And then from the chip itself, nano chip is becoming smaller and smaller. It's right now 5 nanometer, 7 nanometer, and then 3 nanometer is coming. Eventually, it's less than 1 nanometer is also coming for the next 4 and 5 years. AI on edge. So when you see the edge computing is there, then it is the time to put the AI inside the edge. So this is also becoming more and more trendy right now. What about the network itself? We know the 5G is coming, and 5G is not only used by broadband, mobile broadband, but also used by IoT. That's why when the Release 16 is introduced and mature enough, then all devices, network, application, and also platform will also adopt this one. And then secondly, the trend for the open network. Start from the open access, open transport, and open core. Meaning all the hardware is common, only software-defined network is there. Wi-Fi, it's also coming, Wi-Fi version 6. And for the upcoming years, for the satellite broadband, low Earth orbit satellite broadband, it's also be there. So meaning for Indonesia, there is no single point that is not covered by broadband network. So network is there. The thirdly, what about the platform itself? We know the hybrid cloud is evolving and also introducing. Device management is there. Data management is improved a lot. Security management and also analytic and dashboard is becoming one small package and integrated at once. What about the application? Applications start from the smart home, smart city, smart government, smart manufacturing, smart offering, any kind becoming smart. If it's not smart enough, then you can ask the application developer to build smart things for you. So this is to highlight actually when the 5G implementation is there, what is the prospect for AI and IoT? We know coming from the customer preference first, and then complexity of the use case adoption, regulatory and policies, historical ICT adoption, technology adoption, and also value chain readiness. For Indonesia, it's coming to the 6 item, which is number 1 is agriculture. Number 2 is automotive and transportation. Number 3 is energy and utilities. Number 4 is manufacturing. Number 5 is healthcare. And number 6 is media and entertainment, because of the sophisticated sector that, utilizing all the benefit of 5G, giving more broadband, less latency, also with the massive connectivity. So there is kind of what we call opportunity, but what is the challenge actually? We still have a challenge to implement AI and IoT to support digital transformation. Number one is about policy itself. Policy of data structure standardization, what can be shared, common share use, and secondly is easiness of digital device certification, and thirdly about Personal Data Protection Act, which is not here yet. Number 2 is about support and incentive, support for local device developer and their network, support and incentive for local app and platform developers, support and incentive for local system integrator. This is also still need to be resolved by government, by industry, and all by ecosystem. Thirdly is about industrial ecosystem. What is the challenge? Number one is about user education. Why they need this one, this fancy thing, what they think. Why they invest this one. So it needs user education. Still need that one. Supporting industry development for device, network, and apps, and also development of human resource. There is competent enough in the field of AI and IoT, because we don't know how many actually AI certified, IoT certified available for all Indonesian. That's why we are start to do training, certification, and lecturing, and so on and so forth. And then the last one is about security. For sure, if we go online, all the data is being there, we need to have cybersecurity protection, and we need to ensure also privacy and data protection in place. As a summary, AI and IoT will be very developed side by side in 2001 and going forward. Need to have strong support and incentive from regulator to push industry going from the traditional way toward digitalization, especially for their own business. And also need to develop ecosystem industry that support AI and IoT, but it's not only locally, but also globally with global alliances to accelerate its economic scalability. So that is my presentation, and thank you. I will stop my share.
Thank you, Mr. Prasetya, Pak Teguh, untuk presentasinya. So just to give you a couple of brief summary of all the two speakers, I think the first speaker has spoke on the case studies of AI adaptation on several sectors, specifically highlighting on sectors like retail and public sector. And it is to adapt with the new normal where people work and also communicate remotely. And it has been mentioned that the market is really huge in the retail industry. He mentioned about like around 1 trillion US dollar. And also especially in public sector, it can be used for COVID-19 protocols, such as for social distancing, etc. And for the second speaker, Pak Teguh Prasetya also pinpoint the connection of AI and IoT and several pillars supporting the development, including policies and standards that is currently being built. And also he mentioned about personal data protections and also blueprint of digital transformation for Indonesia. So I think it's also good a framework for the attendance here, participants, to understand how is the the scheme, how on Indonesia going forward with AI and IoT. And he also mentioned about the importance of domestic and global alliance to accelerate the AI and IoT adoption. So I think for those two summaries, we now want to hear about what is the real cases, what is the success story. I think we're going to hear that part from Ivan Tigana that will deliver about maybe more to the what has been implemented and what are the challenges, and also taking the liberty of starting the new year of 2021. What is it to come for? What is it to come for Nodeflux moving forward? So, Ivan, the screen is yours.
Okay, thank you, Mbak Tilma. So, afternoon, everyone. And also thank you for the Dr. Etikan and Pak Teguh to join us in Nodeflux Catalyst webinar. So, I'm Ivan. I'm trying to share what is the Nodeflux going so far in terms of the implementing and apply AI in many areas of industry, and allow me with the team also explain why we launch and we introduce about this kind of ecosystem creation, what we call is a Nodeflux catalyst. So first, I think it's still relevant if we talking about how that everything went digitalized because of the pandemic era, right? Since pandemic struck us in last year, somehow it urged all of us to be more digitalized. Everything is digitalized. Like now, formerly we can see each other directly offline, and somehow everything going online right now. So like this event, we can have this kind of webinar, this kind of event everywhere, every time, right? So I think the pandemic also really impacting on the how that everything and become urged to become more digitalized. Yeah. But the things that made me also realize is the actually how we as the human in the future will be challenged on how that we can use the technology properly and how that we can collaborate with the technology itself. Yeah. And I also agree with Pak Teguh and how that the technology itself actually can improve our lives, improve our economic and other things. Yeah. But the things is what we see is the how digitalized or transformation digital can improve our life in terms of collecting data and or how that in terms of uh, we making a decision or automation will be on more data driven. So from there everything will be more transparent, more we can improve revenue, we can increase our customer experience and on the side, and we can also cutting process, cost efficiency, security, even from the anti-fraud solution. So I think this is the base thing that we need to understand. So next, Nodeflux itself, we focus on AI industry since 2017. So we focus on developing AI, adopting AI technology, and focus on the computer vision. Um, and we see that the market itself is really promising. So the business of AI since 2016 here will be increased more than ever. And also, um, Nodeflux itself since 2017, we implemented AI around 7 million US dollar or more than 100 billion rupiah in terms of business value. So I think it's the right time for us to implement AI, the right time for AI to rise up, AI in Indonesia to become more bigger in the future as in the tech industry. Okay, next. So what we do in Nodeflux is we focus on transforming image and videos into an structured data to become a good insight or value for the businesses. Okay, next. And this is the milestone from Nodeflux. Um, right now, since 2019, we listed in NIST. face recognition vendor tests. And also we work and collaborate with Nvidia and become one of the AI industry from Indonesia, AI company, in terms of the enabler for Nvidia global partner, Metropolis Software Partner Program. Okay. So, and the next is the what Nodeflux do in terms of developing computer vision. So basically, we have several kinds of video, image or video analytics, like face recognition to the vehicle dwelling, and then in terms of transforming streaming image and videos, and also the snapshot image. So we develop in terms of the face recognition, face match one by one, face match detection. And since pandemic, we also creating face mask detection, people density, social distancing, and so on. License plate recognition, and so on. So in terms of the monitoring system, this is what we can see how that computer vision or vision AI implement in the end-to-end solution. So one of the things that lots of business need is about how they're doing a monitoring system or surveillance. So this is one of the end-to-end solution that we aim in terms of people monitoring to the vehicle monitoring as an object. Okay, from public sector to the enterprise, from the security to the retail and so on. So I think a lot of very varied industry that can implement AI right now. Next is the this is the kind of solution that we already implemented. Plate-based compliance, like we can transform license plate recognition for the smart parking solution to the how that helping the government to monitor a tax vehicle tax revenue to the public mobility monitoring, face mask monitoring, visitor management system, and road traffic monitoring. So the next is the one of the best case is we are implementing in Jakarta Smart City. So in 2019 and 2020, we delivered license plate to help the government monitor the tax revenue stream, and also water level monitoring in the water gate. Usually in the situation like this rainy season, yeah, it helps the government. And also when the COVID struck, we help to give the data on how that the Jakarta implement social distancing or PSBB, and we help by surveillance the city and give them the data about the people density and the vehicle density. So this is one of the success story in terms of implementing smart city. Yeah. So the next is the what we see is in terms of identifying someone. As you can see that the verification process, validation process, authentication process is the one thing that really urged right now. How that the like banking, financial industry, how that they can know their customer very accurate and very fast. So we develop this vision AI technology using a biometric recognition, like the face matching, face recognition, on how that helping the financial institution identifying their customer more accurate, and also how that the government or maybe like multi-finance can recognize their assets in terms of vehicle assets, in terms of the monitoring the tax compliance, and also to identify which the vehicle that still have a bad debt or bad installment. So this is one of the solution that we also focusing on how computer vision helping in identifying object. Okay, so the thing that we do is the how we transform human biometrics to become more structured data and can integrate with the database. So this is Nodeflux developed right now, and identifying solutions can be also uh, implement on the HR system, employee attendance, visitor management system, certificate authority biometric verification system, payment with face, and also anti-fraud detection on eKYC system to the smart parking. Uh, the success story from this solution is we collaborate with Dukcapil, officially and regulated by the Permendagri number 102 ya 102 2019. We work with Dukcapil to create what we call is the platform bersama. So like the institution like peer-to-peer lending, fintech, banking can doing a match of face matching or process matching to the eKTP database. Here, some of the client right now is already using it. DigiSign is the certificate authority company, DJP, Dijen Pajak, and also Kredivo as one of the biggest, the big peer-to-peer lending in Indonesia. Okay, so what we see and what we aim in 2021, we are still focused on the computer vision or vision AI. We will diverse our technology on how that AI can be implemented in terms of the types of the variety of the implementation, like in on-premise or on cloud, and we also creating the analytics in terms of SDK and in shape of Docker and so on. And we are focusing on the face as the object, and also the vehicle and license plate recognition. And also what the highlight is the how that Nodeflux create or develop our own machine learning operation to become more actively learning. And what we call is we are doing what we call is a ML ops. So I think this is the thing that makes Nodeflux stronger and in the position of the player of AI in Indonesia. Okay, next. So from the diversity of the solutions, so many things that we can develop together in terms of public sector to the enterprise, how that we can see and help AI for the smart city, for the HR system, facility monitoring, in transportation, financial services, and also the telecommunication. So I think this is that the solution that we need work together. Okay, next. So what is how that the we grasp the opportunities ahead. So we see that go big with Nodeflux. So we build, innovate, and grow with you guys in terms of technology and solution development, go to market together, and also sales empowerment in terms of how that we can improve the economic. This is that we aim with the partner. Okay, so next, so what we want to achieve with you guys, of course, accelerating growth, optimize revenue, increase brand awareness, and deliver end-to-end solution. But again, at the end, we want to become an AI developer, and AI technology can be developed more in Indonesia. So we have 3 types of partnership. we have a technology partner, development partner, and channel partner. So in terms of the technology partner, we are more focusing on how that technology partner can be more compatible with our technology. So the compatibility is what we aim, improve and add new features together, and also creating a roadmap technology development. Okay, so next, development partner. This is what we see, what we can do is doing a product or solution bundling. So we try to expand the adoption of product to become more wider and diversified in market, tailored product to become end-to-end solution, to increase use case AI development. So the last one is the channel partner. So this is that we can see that how we can optimize our revenue generating and how that we can penetrate um, the diversified solution and more mature product into the widened market, and also encourage the customer to become more applying in AI solution. Okay, so the next is trying to explain partner types and labeling. So we will define in 3 level. So the first, the catalyst member. So you guys can join in Nodeflux catalyst member. And the second is what we aim is the featured partner. So which in here partners will be supported in optimizing and their capability and performance in terms of doing the AI solutions. And the highest is the preferred partners. So here partner who have manifested higher levels on this capability and performance, preferred partners will gain escalated benefits and opportunities. So basically, we will have 3 types of partner labeling. And as in the overview, how that we see a partner in terms of life cycle partner with Nodeflux. So we will doing from the partner seeking and approaching to the partnership improvement and planning. So there will be stages, but on these stages, we will trying to grow together. We will support the partner on how that we can develop, and also we can go to the market and improve the AI industry in Indonesia. So this is the overview on partner lifecycle in Nodeflux Catalyst. Okay, next aja. So I think that's all. Hopefully, all the attendees here can see what Nodeflux will do in this 2021 and the future. And please register yourself, visit our website, and join to the Nodeflux Catalyst. I think that's all. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Ivan, for the very elaborative explanation and presentation. And I think it's very interesting because while we're listening to your presentation, there are also a couple of questions that has been answered to both of our speakers, Dr. Atikan and Mr. Teguh Prasetya. So, but just to give you an overview, there are a couple of questions around how to convince commercial or companies to adopt AI and IoT. I would like to address this to Pak Teguh, and also because he needs to leave because as he has other schedule. And this is the format that I think all of the speakers can have one closing statements before, just to open another question and answer if there's any from the attendance. So after Pak Teguh, probably you can have the next round, Dr. Atikan, and then also Ivan. Please.
Thank you, Thelma. I'm really sorry I should running away from this session because another session is waiting for me. But my final saying is number one, regarding the development of the technology and the AI, also IoT ahead, we all must be able to adapt it and to adopt it. So number one, we must adopt it and adapt it. Secondly, after we are adopting it and adapt it, and then we must accelerate it. What is what do you mean by accelerate? We must accelerate in term of penetration, in term of human development, in term of capacity building, that kind of thing. We must accelerate everything, including accelerate the regulation, because regulation always coming late. Don't expect regulation coming first, And then thirdly, after that, we must collaborate among all the ecosystem, locally, domestically, also globally, because with that, we can enlarge again the market. Well, so that is my final remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Teguh. Dr. Etikan.
Yep.
Thank you for your time, Pak.
Okay, I will leave now. Sorry,
Terima
Dr.
kasih.
Atikan, Ivan,
Terima
Pak
kasih banyak
Kristianto.
Pak Teguh.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay,
Take
I'm
care.
leaving
Thanks
now.
for joining.
Okay, bye, everybody.
Bye-bye. Yep. I think uh, in this century, right, we have a lot of digital natives. I'm not sure. I'm probably, I would say I'm a digital migrant, right? Which I got into digital, right? And those who are young, all of you are digital natives. And we have accustomed to the digital era of doing things. Thus, we expect our life quality to improve by using digital. And IoT, it is a way of how our life will be designed, whether we like it or not. That's one. Second is, it's going to create our life to be much simpler, much easier. So for example, today, Gojek, right? You know very well. And Gojek's actually transformed the entire industry in Indonesia by being a frame, I call a fabric of transportation. It's a fabric. It's a platform today, right? So you go to Gojek, you can order. I was told, before COVID, I used to travel to Indonesia, right? When I get a Gojek, I can order even food to be delivered to me. I can, once I was stuck in a Jakarta traffic, I was in a Gojek car, and I told the guy, look, I cannot. Then he said, take a Gojek motorbike, right? So I switched from the car to motorbike, and I reached the meeting within a short period of time. So it became a fabric today, Gojek. Of course, also the Gojek founder became your education minister now. That transformed the entire transportation platform for Indonesia. So similarly, what we foresee is even video analytics becoming a platform that will actually transform and translate the way that we interact, we do things, right? So eventually it becomes a fabric, it becomes a platform. So many activities to take place along with that. Of course, video is only one sensor, one input. So you have audio as another sensor, another input. And then I think the previous presenter, Tago, talked about 5G and all that. So NVIDIA is already working with the entire 5G community. As you know, a protocol called Open RAN, Radio Access Network, right? It's an open radio access network where each of your end devices will have a 30 meg of bandwidth capacity to do some things, right? What is 30 megs going to be? That's applications already, we are working on it now. It's just a matter of time is going to come to you. I'm heavily involved in some of the work. I can see all these will have accessibility for all kind of activities, whether it is a farming, whether it's going to be your healthcare related services, and all that is actually in the process of transformation. So let me just give an example. Healthcare. For those who actually want to go and see a doctor, you have to make appointment, you have to see the GP, you have to see the specialist, and then you have to look at your scan and all that. So now they're actually bringing that into a fabric where you can meet a GP through online, through a video conference, and then you can actually connect your devices and then get the vital information so that he can make a decision whether you should go and see a pharmacist to get a pharmacy medicine, or you should go and appointment to go and see a specialist. Even the specialist scheduling can be done automatically and based on availability of information. It's all is already taking place now. I won't say thanks to COVID. I don't like COVID, but it has accelerated. The word is accelerated the entire technology adoption. So with the transformation, there's a fabric is coming in. Same, think about Gojek as for a transportation platform. So we now have another transportation platform where all the sensors will be connected. Will be, of course, security is being protected, right? Ethical AI has to all coming in. All is in place. With these, it will make our life easier. Of course, there was another question was asked whether does it means that we're going to lose job with AI? No, it's just going to make our life much easier, comfortable to do things, so that we can focus jobs which is much more important, much more critical. All right, all the mundane job, that's one which will be done by AI. Second is I see there is a lot of innovative, creative jobs which is requires our capability and intervention to come in and take place. Robots cannot do, AI cannot do. It's only human can do. Right. So with this, I see a bright future, and especially for Indonesia with a young population, you have a lot of innovation skill, and you have a local consumption. The most important, your 250 million. It's a test bed of a world. Your fourth largest country in the world. You don't need ASEAN, you don't need China, you don't need US to go and sell. You sell in Indonesia first, you make it work best, then you export out to the entire world. So Indonesia is the biggest platform for you to be to develop, to try to profit in Indonesia itself. Then you export out to the rest of the world. You have a bright future.
Well, thank you. We take that as a motivation for more innovations to come. And I think there are a couple of questions in the Q&A. I know Ivan will need to go next, but I just want to take the liberty to ask these questions. I think it might be interesting to hear from you, Dr. Atikan. There's a question, apakah ada dampak negatif dari penggunaan teknologi AI di masa depan? Is there any negative effect? I think let's just take it as not in the future, but now. Is there any negative impact that of the AI, using AI now? Or don't talk about the future. I think, because of COVID, just talk about now. Your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, as if there is a what I call, if there is a positive, there's always a negative, right? There's always a two side for everything, right? From what I from the research work, the activity that I work on, I see more positive. AI contributes to the mankind versus some negative, which is actually done by people who have not ethical people, right? So that is, we need to have a government to come in place to do regulating it, right? So as long there is ethical AI practice comes in, I see there is a huge positive impact to the mankind. And even in the current COVID situation, if you can see, because of the platform like online platform, right, that you have like Tokopedia, for example, or Bukalapak and so on, people can order items, can get items done without have a little contact to human being, right? So even post COVID it was there, but with the COVID it becomes much more prevalent. People are start using it. Today, if you see from Nvidia perspective, we spend billions of dollars in the research, even to do what we call drug discovery. So if people talk about drug discovery, and it takes about 10 to 12 years a drug before it becomes available for public to consume. But we work with many of the drug designers company. They use AI to model a chemical compound which is actually potentially suitable for a vaccine development. And this AI actually that we've been working with all these our partners even helped to accelerate designing, testing, validating digitally some of the compound that being used eventually for COVID, right? Even in order, if you can see the genetic testing that we have, when you want to sequence the genetics today, because of using GPU, the prices came down so low that you can even do a genetic sequencing for every patient who's been tested positive and see whether there is a mutation has taken place in the COVID virus which being detected in population, right? So I see there's more benefit today now, even as we speak in the pandemic situation where AI is helping everybody.
Right. I agree with you. And I think once, there's a ethical framework at least in Indonesia being established, should be more comfortable or easier for people to accept and also adopt AI in their operational work or probably on life. Thank you, Dr. Etikan. So for Ivan,
Yeah, I think I can also adding
your thoughts.
Yes, I also want to add how that the technology, or maybe specifically AI, can give a negative impact. But again, from my previous presentation, I think it's all about the how humankind and technology itself collaborate, and how humankind can use the technology properly, right? And also there will be always that kind of dark side. I mean, using technology for the negative things. But like here, Nodeflux creating a Nodeflux catalyst is how that we see we need to collaborate on this. So from there, we can prevent all the things that might give negative impact from the technology itself. How that we collaborate to make things that more become more positives, like Pak Teguh said, especially in improving economy, improving society, improving lives. So I think it's not just about the technology that being developed, but how that we see in terms of using the technology itself. Yeah.
Baik, terima kasih. Sedikit merangkum saja. Sebenarnya saya pikir ini tergantung dari pemakaiannya. Segala sesuatu yang berlebihan itu pasti tidak baik. Jadi saya pikir memang basisnya atau alasan untuk menggunakan itu seperti tadi disampaikan oleh Dr. Etikan adalah memang kita harus membuat ini membantu hidup manusia, tetapi tidak mengganggu hidup manusia. Mungkin itu jawabannya. Lalu ada beberapa, saya ingin mengapresiasi dulu untuk semua yang sudah bertanya. Terima kasih kepada Bapak Dani Ruhiat, lalu Pak Jumatil Fajar, Ibu, saya sebut nama saja ya, Ibu Dwi ya, yang ini yang sudah bertanya. Ada Sofian Hadi bertanya mengenai bagaimana AI bisa support social issue in changing human skills by machine. Menarik ini. Mungkin nanti saya akan bertanya kepada Ivan juga untuk bagaimana AI juga bisa digunakan untuk beberapa aplikasi-aplikasi yang kurang lebih bekerjanya di ruang sosial begitu. Lalu terima kasih untuk Ikhlas Bahar yang juga sudah bertanya, dan semua yang sudah bertanya di saat presentasi tadi pada saat sesi pertama, terima kasih, dan tampaknya sudah langsung dijawab dan diskusinya cukup menarik. Apabila ada hal lain atau pertanyaan lanjutan yang ingin ditanyakan, silakan untuk raise hand atau langsung saja menuliskan lagi. Baik, sebelumnya saya akan mungkin bertanya mengenai pertanyaan dari Ikhlas Bahar yang kedua ya. Ini untuk Ivan mengenai we highly respect the idea of ever put forth in the positioning as technology catalyst. Pertanyaannya sebenarnya sederhana saja, bagaimana bisa berkolaborasi antara Nodeflux sebagai between you as a catalyst. Ini juga mungkin kita harus jelaskan yang mana catalystnya. Dan mereka sebagai sistem integrator. Ini karena concern bagaimana computer vision dapat bisa being taken advantage in the field of sport. Itu dilihat di bagian olahraga dan juga sebuah sektor yang belum banyak difokuskan kurang lebih sekarang. Silakan.
Okay, thank you. I think it's a very good question from Ikhlas Bahar. So basically, why Nodeflux creating Nodeflux Catalyst in terms of the ecosystem in collaboration? Yeah. So we see that Nodeflux focusing on developing the technology of AI. So jadi kita mendevelop is a technology dan produknya. But in terms of the how this technology can being implemented or being applied in many kinds of life's activity or business process, this is what we need to collaborate with what we call is a system integrator. So usually system integrator have a more knowledge on many kinds of subject matter expert in terms of the many kinds of industry, right? So like here in Ikhlas Bahar said how we can collaborate in sport industry. So Nodeflux here, we will capture from the market needs, how that the AI can be developed and fit with the market requirement or market needs. But I think system integrator apa ya lebih paham ya, more have a knowledge on the specific subject matter in expertise. Yeah. So I think from Notebox Catalyst we can collaborate from there. So let's say I think I seen that there's a kind of vision AI that can help how that the athletes can uh, improve their skill by recognizing simply like recognizing the posture of the apa ya maksudnya kayak gerakan misalnya menendang yang betul atau misalnya cara lari yang proper. I think I have seen this technology can help improving the skill of athletes. So dari sini kita bisa collaborate bareng justru dengan adanya Nodeflux Catalyst dengan sistem integrator. Tapi kita memang melihat sistem integrator biasanya lebih memahami kebutuhan dari berbagai macam industri ya. Jadi lebih kasar. Jadi kita fokusnya ke developing, tapi bekerja sama dengan sistem integrator untuk tahu requirement yang lebih tepat dan mendeliver end-to-end solution. Kurang lebih gitu Mbak Tilma.
Baik, semoga itu menjawab. Ada pertanyaan lagi lanjutan dari
Yeah,
Pak.
I just want to add on
Sure.
the first questions. So for SI, it's actually system SI, right? SI plays a very critical role. So let me share a little bit from our Nvidia experience. We see a global deployment. So one of our customers in US actually were requested for all their stores to be installed with the solution. Let's say, for example, in the case they wanted to install solution from Nodeflux, right? Nodeflux being a small team, they cannot scale 10,000 stores to install the software, integrate it together with the camera stream, plug in the hardware they're going to give. It is not possible to scale. That means Nodeflux has to hire people who actually have to go to 10,000 stores throughout the country. They need to bring the right equipment to connect all the cameras, for example, with the Nodeflux software in a specific hardware, and then fine tune the solution. It is not scalable. But if the SI can come in, who have the scale, because they have the capability and knowledge, the camera installation, camera wiring, if there's additional camera to be done, and all that, they can easily scale through their partner network and work with a Nodeflux to have the scalable 10,000 nodes of deployment. So that's one example. We have seen how ISVs, right, like Nodeflux can work with SI to do that. That's one. Second is every vertical have a different needs. So when I say vertical, for example, in terms of manufacturing, IVA to be applied in a manufacturing, the knowledge like what Ivan mentioned is a different versus the IVA for a SI in the public safety and security. SI who actually covers maybe petrol kiosk is different. SI who covers retail is different. So every segment of this, they actually have their own special skill and knowledge. But people like ISVs like Nodeflux, our capabilities together with them, it's developing application, AI neural networks, which can detect objects, detect abnormality, and that's where we are good at. So we need to be deep, what you call deep tech, right? We have to go deep in building the solution. But in order to scale out, we have to work with SIs or else we cannot work. That's why even for NVIDIA, we need to work with partner like Nodeflux. We are very good in our technology, which is GPU, which is very good in terms of building the AI neural networks. But this network and application or the framework SDK that we cannot scale worldwide, globally. It's impossible. NVIDIA is still a small company. We need to work with partners like Nodeflux in Indonesia, for example. They know Indonesia very well, right? Better than NVIDIA. They develop the platform, but the platform cannot scale. You have to have an SI to do scalability. That's one. Next is, as you said, football. I'm working with some of the developers who are actually developing solution where you have multiple cameras to do field analysis. If you have, for example, let's take football, which is popular in Indonesia, right? So a lot of football clubs want to do player analysis in the football field. So they take all the video feed from the past game, and then they tag, Nodeflux has a API to do plugin of people identification. So you detect a person and the person keep moving. So you can do a path movement of a person, you analyze, and then you can analyze the speed of the guy. So maybe the two games ago, this guy can run very fast. After 2 games, the guy cannot run very fast. Why? Maybe something is not right with him, all right? Then you can actually do a player analysis. So like that, there is many possible applications within the sports area. Not only player analysis, even a solution for stadium. There's many things, right? Where the rich knowledge resides with SI to partner and give a feedback and requirement to Nodeflux to develop, and Nodeflux in turn can give some of the feedback to NVIDIA, and we can develop together as a partners. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And if there's any more additional or continuing questions, you might also want to type or just raise your hands.
Okay. I think there's a still open question for me.
Oh yeah,
So
there's one question on Hans Himawan.
Hans Himawan.
There's
So let's go first from Jumatil.
Okay.
Dia menanyakan about contact tracing and COVID. Tapi ini pertanyaan menarik. The question is interesting, and how implementation AI towards the ethic issues on the I think it's about using face recognition and credit card ya. So pertanyaannya bagaimana mengusulkan integrasi antara face recognition dengan GPS dan kartu kredit, tapi ada masalah terhadap etika. Kalau saya lihat sih sebenarnya kayak tadi Pak Teguh bilang ya, kita jangan nunggu regulasinya sebenarnya, tapi bagaimana justru kita dengan kolaborasi ini bisa membantu pemerintah di dalam untuk bisa mensegerakan mengeregulasi undang-undangnya gitu. Dan saya rasa in terms of developing technology, kita justru harus melihat bagaimana kita bisa sinergi dengan regulasi yang akan segera diluncurkan atau segera disahkan. Tapi juga dalam mendevelop teknologi itu jangan takut gitu. Yang penting kita bisa melihat bagaimana teknologi ini bisa memberikan solusi yang tepat. Saya rasa itu juga akan menarik buat pemerintah untuk bisa dilindungi secara hukum malah. Jadi kita pun dalam melihat develop teknologi penerapannya, kita juga mesti mulai melihat juga kira-kira kode etik apa yang kira-kira akan ke-challenge atau mungkin bahkan bisa dilanggar ataupun malah bisa disepakatin. Ya contoh kayak pengenalan wajah gitu kan, pasti ini akan berimbas terhadap undang-undang data pribadi. Ya, jadi menurut saya sih dalam hal mengajukan sebuah integrasi atau teknologi, saya rasa ini jangan terhambat sih. Jadi tetap harus bisa dilakukan juga. Mungkin itu tambahannya.
Siap. Sedikit tambahan kalau untuk hubungannya dengan face recognition dan juga hubungan dengan etik. sekarang memang RUU-nya atau rancangan undang-undang mengenai perlindungan data pribadi memang dalam proses, artinya sudah cukup lama. Awalnya adalah dibuka di 2015 dan sampai sekarang memang dalam proses diskusi. Nah, kalau pertanyaannya apakah inovasi harus menunggu selama itu? Saya pikir jangan. Dan saya sepakat, setuju, bahkan di strategi nasional AI itu sudah jelas didiskusikan bahwa jangan sampai strategi ini dibuat, jangan sampai kebijakan itu malah menghambat inovasi. Tetapi memang kebijakan itu memberikan ruang untuk inovasi yang baru sehingga ada akselerasi dalam kehidupan kehidupan manusia Indonesia. Kurang lebih begitu. Oke, menambahkan saja. Ada satu pertanyaan lagi. There's one more question from Hans Himawan. The question is, I think both of you can answer this part. How to solve ethical problems in using AI, especially ethical dilemmas. I don't know what you mean about ethical dilemmas. If you might want to elaborate on that, and health issues and job displacement. I think few of this part has been explained and replied in the previous question. So you might want to see in the answered button. But if you have anything to add, Dr. Etikan and Ivan, please.
Sure. But probably I'll go first. Then after that, Ivan can add on. I think we have addressed the impact of the ethical dilemmas with the governance come in, and also generally GDPR policy globally applies to this as well. So most of the large organization imply and apply GDPR policy, where any data is being gathered and collected, being protected. For example, in the case of Nvidia, we provide anonymization capability. We provide encryption technology so that you can encrypt the information that you have. In terms of health issues, how to solve ethical problems in using AI in the health issues. So AI today, for example, even the COVID-19 scenarios, I jointly worked with some of the universities in Indonesia, I think ITB, right? So we developed a model when it can detect the presence of COVID-19 in a patient's lungs, because when the patient come to the hospital, while they're actually waiting to be done a swab test, which takes about, depends on the test, it may take sometimes 24 hours or shorter, longer. They actually do an X-ray to understand the condition of the lung. So as soon as the X-ray is taken, we have actually developed an AI model can detect the capacity of the lung, which is actually has a COVID-19, potential COVID-19, right? So it automatically can detect and give a suggestion or recommendation to the doctor and say there is a COVID-19. So this actually helps in for example, in the case of detecting patients possibly having a COVID-19 infection. So in the healthcare sector, we actually comply to the healthcare policy and guidelines, where the data is actually protected under the PAC system within the hospital network, and AI model apply. So it's pretty much protected. And the last question in terms of job displacement, even in the 80s and 90s, where IT was introduced in order to do digitalization and so on, there's a big concern whether internet or IT will take over job from human being. But if you can see in the last 20 years, many of you online today, our parents or our grandparents used to be a farmers or agriculture based, but none of us are actually doing agriculture based today. All of us are IT based people, right? So IT actually created more jobs than what it was there before in that century, right? So I feel the same cycle is just coming again with the AI as a means of addressing. So there'll be more jobs created. Second is there will be a creative jobs coming in, which requires human being skills to be upgraded. So I'm not very concerned about job displacement, but what will happen is job I call as a reinvention has to take place. Some jobs may not be exist because AI can do some of the job. So we need to do recreation of a new jobs so that so that they actually have a different skill set to handle that specific job. So that need to be done collectively, everybody in the community together.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Dr. African. Okay, I think that's a very thorough explanation on the answer on the questions. I hope it answer your questions, Hans. And if we talk about ethic, I think it might be, you know, it's very broad issue, and also I think we just want to come back on the part of how we can also collaborate, because that's also the idea of having Catalyst, and also to invite you to partner with Nodeflux. And before we go to that part, Jumatil Fajar would like to ask directly a couple of questions. Pak Jumatil, silakan.
Saya pakai bahasa Indonesia aja, Mbak ya.
Silakan.
Nah, ini Mbak, sebelumnya saya sudah pernah ikut presentasi Nodeflux ya terkait tentang masalah pengenalan wajah ini. Dan waktu saya lihat harga-harganya, itu kan harganya cukup mahal. Nah, saya ini kan bekerja di rumah sakit. Kalau saya bandingkan dengan biaya yang harus kami keluarkan dengan manfaat yang kami peroleh, nampaknya kurang sebanding gitu. Apakah mungkin nanti ke depan akan ada pertimbangan juga untuk industri kecil terkait tentang masalah pemanfaatan, karena sebenarnya secara ide itu banyak, tapi ketika melihat ketika harus misalnya mengimplementasikan kemampuan misalnya pengenalan wajah dimiliki oleh Nodeflux ini misalnya di rumah sakit kami, ya kayaknya nggak sanggup gitu kita untuk bisa, karena saya lihat kemarin itu kan contoh-contohnya banyak digunakan di smart city dan lain sebagainya gitu. Memang kalau memang pemerintah kami mendukung sih kami akan sangat senang gitu, tapi kan ide dari bawah ini mungkin tidak selalu didukung oleh pimpinan. Nah, gitu. Ada nggak kemungkinan hal seperti ini? Karena saya lihat kemarin ketika saya mengusulkan yang saya tanyakan tadi ya terkait dengan masalah apa, sebenarnya kan di Cina, di Korea sudah menerapkan bagaimana mereka bisa, seperti yang tadi diceritakan oleh Pak Etikan itu kan, bagaimana ketika ada orang masuk ke tempat publik sementara dia positif, nah secara aturan itu kan dia sudah menjadi kontak erat yang harus dijadikan sebagai sasaran kontak tracing. Nah, ini kan sebenarnya sangat ideal kalau misalnya Nodeflux bisa bersama dengan Dukcapil, dia sudah punya data semua iktp se-Indonesia, sehingga kita bisa mengenali wajahnya, kemudian kita manfaatkan CCTV yang ada di semua tempat-tempat umum, dan dengan GPS itu kita bisa mendeteksi keberadaan mereka. Nah, cuma kan ide seperti ini kan terlalu besar gitu, ya, dan mungkin tidak semua setuju. Nah, waktu itu ada saran kepada saya, bagaimana kalau kamu coba terapkan saja itu ke rumah sakit dengan pengenalan wajah dari pasien yang masuk, gitu ya, misalnya untuk apakah selama menunggu itu pasien menjaga jarak. Nah, cuma ketika melihat harganya itu lumayan besar gitu ininya biaya yang harus dikeluarkan. Mungkin pertanyaannya gitu aja. Ada nggak pemikiran misalnya harga khusus misalnya industri kecil? Terima kasih.
Terima kasih Pak Jumatil. Silakan langsung dijawab.
Terima kasih Pak Jumatil. Jadi sebenarnya memang di awal Nodeflux itu sendiri kita ngedevelop teknologi AI untuk bisa diimplementasikan ke arah city surveillance yang sifatnya large scale ya. Sehingga pada saat itu model atau tipe produknya memang ke arah yang pemantauan yang besar, streaming data yang besar, sehingga membutuhkan biaya yang cukup besar juga. Tapi jangan khawatir, saat ini kita sudah mulai membuat sebuah platform yang sifatnya as a service dan juga cloud based. Jadi nanti mungkin kita bisa lanjutkan diskusinya dengan Pak Jumatil, bagaimana nanti kita bisa create bareng untuk AI ini akhirnya bisa digunakan di banyak tempat tanpa harus investasi besar, tanpa harus mempersiapkan infrastruktur yang besar dan juga biaya yang besar, tapi bagaimana justru teknologi ini bisa ke-share ke banyak banyak user ya. Jadi kita juga sudah mempersiapkan untuk sifatnya yang untuk AI ini lebih ke arah as a service gitu. Jadi
Semoga
secara
menjawab Pak Jumantil. Saya pikir memang itu adalah pertanyaan yang bisa didiskusikan secara bilateral karena memang sektor kesehatan adalah sebuah sektor yang prioritas gitu. Saya pikir itu bisa menjawab. Baik, kita akan masuk ke pertanyaan-pertanyaan atau ada hal-hal yang ingin ditanyakan mengenai partnership atau model kerjasama yang ada di skema katalis ini. Mungkin apakah ada pertanyaan dari partisipan yang hadir sekarang? Silakan raise hand atau mungkin bisa diketik chat. Tapi saya ingin bertanya mungkin kepada Ivan dan mungkin Etikan, if you might want to add, apa sebenarnya kriteria atau the basic requirements for you to find partners to collaborate?
Ya, thank you.
Silakan.
Jadi dasarnya sih kita melihat pertama compatibility dari sisi bagaimana partner ini bisa memiliki kemampuan untuk mendevelop AI itu sendiri ya. Dalam artian mendevelop dan juga mengimplementasi AI-nya gitu. Nanti kita akan lihat, kita juga akan mapping sebenarnya kebutuhan dalam implementasi AI selain kita sebagai Nodeflux menyediakan engine-nya, itu apa aja sih? Contoh tadi seperti yang sudah dijelaskan, there will be like CCTVs, networking, maybe cloud platform, data platform, data center, and so on. Itu yang akan kita lihat how that we can integrate and compatible sesamanya gitu ya. The second is we will see how that we can have on the market interest and market matching. Jadi kita akan lihat apakah sesama partner, Nodeflux dengan partner itu bisa melihat target market yang sama. Kenapa? Karena memang kita harus melihat kira-kira AI ini sendiri akan lebih praktikal dan lebih cepat untuk bisa diserap di tipe market yang seperti apa. Dan tentunya market ini memang memiliki kemampuan untuk menyerap teknologi AI itu sendiri in terms of the kesiapan dari kesiapan dari infrastrukturnya, misalnya kesiapan dari teknologinya atau sistem yang sudah ada, dan juga kemampuan untuk menyerap secara biaya juga gitu. Jadi ada teknologi matching dan juga ada market matching nanti di situ. Jadi basically-nya itu dari situ kita juga bisa ngeliat capability-nya nanti seperti apa untuk bisa growing bareng. Kurang lebih kayak gitu Mbak Tilma.
Yep, terima kasih. Etikan, any thoughts on that part?
Yeah, definitely. It's Ivan and the team in Nodeflux have a right. I would call catalyst compartmentalization, right? The type of partners, their capabilities, and I think the other one is important is also to look at vertical that you want to solve solution, right? Retail as a vertical, transportation as a vertical. Then if you look at in terms of safety and security, right? City environment. So every vertical has a different use cases, different problem statements, right? So having partners in each and every vertical with a domain-specific knowledge is very important. Of course, SI has to work together with them, and then also I think as one of the type of partners that you have is how they actually develop application using the engine. So partners who have the application flow knowledge. That means like, for example, if you can use an API from Nodeflux to do some kind of authentication or authorization or verification, but by using that authentication, you can create your own business flow, and that business flow will actually generate revenue for you. So like, for example, they call EKYC, know your customer better, right? So you take certain information and you can use Nodeflux API to do authorization or authentication or understanding. But after that, there is a business flow. So the partners with those business flow capability, or who can join together with Nodeflux, then you can create an entire new market segment, a new business potential by using the engine. So those are the people actually should work together, the Nodeflux, to create more opportunity, bigger opportunity. So as I said, like Gojek as a transport fabric, the Nodeflux IVA platform becomes a fabric which gives you more opportunity to be developed on top of that.
Right. So I think it also comes down to the final questions. Well, thank you for that part. If you are interested to, atau saya pakai bahasa Indonesia aja. Kalau tertarik untuk bisa bekerja sama dengan Nodeflux, bisa melihat di website yang nanti akan tertera di chat, lalu bisa melihat di sana dan mungkin bisa berdiskusi secara langsung. Karena saya pikir segala sesuatu itu solusinya tidak bisa seragam. Tergantung dari situasi, kondisi, dan juga apa yang akan dicapai. Saya pikir begitu. Ada yang ingin akselerasi, ada yang mungkin ingin efisiensi begitu. Jadi untuk diskusi lanjutan, silakan untuk bisa langsung berkontak. Baik, ini adalah, I think this will be the final questions. If there's no more question from the participants.
Mungkin aku mau nambahin,
Ya, silakan.
Okay, so I think as in conclusion for the Nodeflux Catalyst, so we cannot wait any wait. I think this is the right time, yeah, to how we can collaborate together in terms of the to develop AI and to apply AI in Indonesia. Like for example, how that Nodeflux and Nvidia collaborate together in enabling AI as in the technology to be implemented. Jadi kita akan sangat open dengan berbagai macam kolaborasi. And no worries, this is the first batch. This is the initiate of collaboration. There will be another batch. Jadi kita akan terus cari terus seeking the right partner and on how that we can grow together and develop together in AI industry ya.
Baik, terima kasih. Baik, kalau begitu sebenarnya ada satu pertanyaan final untuk menutup sesi ini mengenai setelah misalnya sudah berkolaborasi, artinya sudah menjadi partner. Biasanya pertanyaannya adalah di belakangnya bagaimana ease of deployment atau deployment-nya, begitu. Nah, mungkin this will be the final question to both of you. Is it? Or maybe I just reiterate or change the questions. How do we anticipate, or how is the potential partner anticipate the process of creating solution from creating it as a process to be ready application, business ready application? Your thought.
Ivan, you want to go ahead? Ivan first?
Okay.
Or?
I will answer first. So, jadi kita so Nodeflux Catalyst, we see that it's a process. So that's why in my previous slides, there will be a partner lifecycle process from seeking and how that we can doing together in terms of researching on the right solution, doing a sandboxing, doing and exploring in developing the technology, and also go to market together and how that we can seek the right market that we can aim. And after that, we will have another process, and we will have a review process in this partnership life cycle until we can see the right the most fit solution or technology or market that the most fit from Nodeflux and the partner. So we will keep improving together with the partners to grow. Jadi itu ada proses. Jadi kita memang partner life cycle ini akan terus melakukan sebuah proses ya. Kurang lebih gitu Mbak Tilma. Mudah-mudahan bisa menjawab.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Etikan?
Yeah, sure. So in terms of how ease is to use is, for example, as a partner to Nvidia, Nvidia actually have our own engineers, researchers who develop algorithms and libraries, and we release this as our SDKs or libraries to Nodeflux and also to all our partners worldwide, globally, right? All partners get it. So every 2 to 3 months, these libraries and SDKs will be delivered to all our partners. And then the partners in turn will use our SDKs and libraries to keep updating, upgrading, innovating, providing new type of application as their solutioning platform. So it's a continuous, and every 2 to 3 months, this is continuously takes place. But not only providing the SDKs libraries, we also have some kind of a sharing workshop to all our partners, including a Nodeflux, in a continuous manner. So it's a continuous collaboration between all our partners in terms of providing the SDKs, libraries, bringing in all the innovation in-house that we have in our labs. That's one. Second is also teaching, sharing, providing a workshop that's being done. Third is I also work closely with Nodeflux to do a question and answer session, guiding some kind of short sessions where we have, continuous collaboration. So that's how Nvidia collaborates with Nodeflux. So we would like the same partnership like what we are doing between Nodeflux and all of y'all.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you for today. As conclusion to our session, we spoke a lot about how AI is being adopted in several cases and also in several sectors. Specifically, also we talked about in healthcare and also retail. And I think it can start the inspiration for the participants. And in the discussion also, we spoke about a couple of ways on how to start it and how to build it in healthcare and how to build an ecosystem around it. And we also, in the previous speaker, say that AI and IoT need to be developed in parallel. So, and also we spoke about a couple of regulation, how regulation also plays part on this. But I think most of the discussions also around, it kind of circled around the idea of ethics. So I just want to conclude and also close this session about with a quote. AI is neither good nor evil. It's a tool. It's a technology for us to use. Jadi jangan dibandingkan bahwa apakah ini membawa kebaikan atau membawa kebinasaan misalnya. Ini sebenarnya adalah alat. Ini adalah sebuah teknologi untuk digunakan. Artinya segala sesuatu yang dibuat ini adalah untuk mempermudah, just what Etikan was saying. It's to ease how human live. Jadi bukan untuk digunakan bagaimana untuk berusaha menggunakan ini untuk menghancurkan, kira-kira seperti itu. Dan saya juga mengundang untuk Anda melihat beberapa hal yang bisa ditawarkan oleh Nodeflux di partnership-nya, collaboration is key. Jadi saya pikir ini adalah undangan untuk Anda juga menjadi katalis di development atau perkembangan AI Indonesia. AI itu saya senangnya kadang-kadang bercanda AI asli Indonesia. Baik, terima kasih. Kembalikan ke Chris, saya Tilma Komaling, pamit, mohon maaf apabila ada pernyataan yang tidak berkenan, dan semoga kita bisa berjumpa lagi. Selamat sore, silakan Chris.
Thank you Tilma.
Baik, terima kasih Mbak Tilma, luar biasa sekali sesinya ya. 3 sesi tadi, pemaparan, diskusi, dan Q&A. Ada total 16 pertanyaan ya tadi yang diajukan oleh para audiens. Terima kasih sekali atas responnya. Selanjutnya seperti yang sudah kami janjikan di awal tadi ya,
kita bisa
dari
berjumpa.
panitia
Sudah
door prize berupa berupa 2 smart speakers. Yang pertama akan kita berikan untuk yang penanya terbaik ya. Dan tadi dari info dari panitia, pertanyaan terbaik diberikan kepada Bapak Ikhlas Bahar ya, dari Brilian Trimatra Utama. Sekali lagi yang berhak mendapatkan door prize yang pertama adalah Bapak Ikhlas Bahar dari Brilian Trimatra Utama. Dari Pak Ikhlas Bahar, mungkin kita masih ada 1-2 menit. Jika ada yang mau diutarakan, Pak Ikhlas Bahar, kita akan izinkan mic-nya. Silakan Bapak Ikhlas Bahar jika ada yang disampaikan, dan sekali lagi selamat untuk Ikhlas Bahar ya. Silakan Pak Ikhlas.
Oh, oke. Apa kabar Pak semua?
Alhamdulillah baik,
dokter
Pak.
Etikan ya. Appreciate sudah bisa melaksanakan kegiatan ini. We do appreciate semua usahanya dan kita memang di bidang sekarang ini banyak bergerak di bidang sport ya. Jadi we see that computer vision in sport for us is a promising avenue to explore, since the nature of sport is movement and activity. With how the analysis side of things in sport has advanced, it is imperative for the industry to find a solution on how to analyze movements within the respective sports in order to have a better outcome. And we truly believe that computer vision is the way to go, especially for the needs such as training, monitoring, performance assessments, etc. And this also ties to another aspect of the sport industry, like sports event management, where AI can significantly reduce the level of error that may occur during accreditation. So we learned this experience previously, and we're gonna work together. We have contacted your Amar and Ibrahim as well to to do some trial for our next national event for sports. So it's gonna be interesting for both of us. So we are system integrator. We do a lot of mobile applications. We have developed some applications on microservices, and we are system integrator, and we have also big data, but we don't do this computer visions, and we keen to work with you guys for sure, and appreciate Dr. Etikens, as you mentioned, as a system integrator, you have to be in the front liner to address and to find out all the requirements, and then we can work together later.
Sure.
Okay, so this is very interesting moments. Again, once again, we appreciate this event. Ya.
Iya.
Thank you so
Luar
much.
biasa,
Thank you Pak Ikhlas.
luar biasa Pak Ikhlas Bahar ya. Mungkin kedepannya di PON ya Pak ya, Pekan Olahraga Nasional bisa pakai AI ya Pak ya.
Ya, ini yang kita ya apalagi kan ini kita develop, kita juga aplikasinya kita develop dalam negeri jadi produk Indonesia. Tadi ya Ibu sudah mention tadi kan bahwa ini Bu Tilma udah mention bahwa asli Indonesia. Jadi bagusnya kalau semua nanti kegiatan-kegiatan kita itu memang betul-betul kita basisnya AI, jadi asli Indonesia gitu ya. Jadi kita sudah develop banyak hal. Ya, tapi memang apalagi begini, kalau saya perhatikan kan, kenapa kita di sports fokusnya, karena di dunia ini bendera negara kita itu dinaikkan itu hanya dua kalau kunjungan kenegaraan, dan yang kedua kalau ada kegiatan olahraga gitu. Jadi bendera itu bisa naik. Nah itu yang kita harapkan tuh. Makanya sport kita itu Indonesia, kita nggak bakal bisa hebat kalau kita nggak pakai AI untuk analisis kegiatan-kegiatan aktiviti di olahraga gitu. Jadi ke depan ini orang kan perangnya bukan cuma dari sisi fisikalnya aja, tetapi orang sudah perang tentang bagaimana menganalisis Nah, jadi peran juga seperti Nvidia tadi, yaitu bagus karena dia kan butuh tenaga yang cepat, kecepatan tinggi, butuh engine yang bagus untuk bisa analisis semua ini. Nah, memang concern kita nanti apakah Nvidia itu dan Nodeflux itu akan fokus juga ke edge computing, karena itu kan juga salah satu tantangan. Ya, kita paham bahwa sekarang kan lebih banyak di cloud dan itu memang bagus. Tapi mungkin ke depan juga harus kita pikirkan bagaimana kita address beberapa kebutuhan terkait dengan kebutuhan di lapangan tuh. Tadi Dr. Etikan has mentioned a bit about the roles of SI to work in the field to help Nodeflux for sure. Oke, thank you ya. Terima kasih loh semuanya.
Selamat
Biasa
Mas.
Mas, nanti tim
Sama-sama.
kami akan menghubungi Bapak ya Pak untuk pengiriman advertising seperti itu. Baik,
Ya, ya.
kalau itu terima kasih Bapak-Bapak dan rekan-rekan semuanya. Sekali lagi ingin saya ingatkan, silahkan berkunjung ke website kami, nodeflux.io, untuk informasi seputar Nodeflux dan spesifik mengenai Nodeflux Katalis, Bapak bisa, rekan-rekan bisa menghubungi website kami juga, nodeflux.io/katalis, dan silahkan registrasi di situ untuk kita bisa berkolaborasi ke depannya. Saya ingatkan juga untuk bisa follow sosial media Nodeflux ya di Instagram, di LinkedIn untuk mengetahui info-info terbaru terkait Nodeflux dan inovasi-inovasi yang kita kembangkan dengan partner-partner kita termasuk dengan Nvidia. Okay, I think we are running out of time. Thank you, Dr. Etikan. Thank you, Mbak Tilma. Thank you, Mas Ivan, and especially to all of the audience. We have almost 50 partners joining our event today, which is, I think it's a new record for us. And we will be contacting with you soon after this. Again, lastly, this is our website. If you after this, you can just take a look and fill the registration form for yourself. With that in mind, I would like to close this event, and I hope we can collaborate and we can meet again in our upcoming webinar. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much,
you.
Dr. Atikan. Thank you so much, Tilma.
Thank you, everyone.
See you again.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Soon.